if a man wants to go 50-50 on a date, or just in general in life, if they just want to split the bills in everything, that does not make that person less of a man. That does not make that person a boy. That does not make that person a bad guy. It just makes them a person that just have different goals and aspirations in life. I genuinely don't understand people, especially girls, who go around and say, oh no, if a guy cannot pay for the full date, then they are not a man. Like, what classifies a man as a man? If I may ask, babies, if you say that, like, please explain to me what classifies a man as a man. Just because a man wants to go 50-50 doesn't mean they are less of a man. It doesn't mean they are a little boy. They just want to go 50-50. And if when you want someone who pays the bills, who pays your bills, who pays for the date 100% and really, then go find that person and stop emasculating and shaming and bringing down men who don't want that. They just don't want that. They don't want to take care of another person's child. They don't want to take care of a grown woman. And that is okay. They have every right to feel that way. The same way when you don't want, oh, this type of man, I don't want this type of man. It's called preference. Or I don't want to cook. I don't want to clean. Okay, they don't want to pay your bills, baby. Accept. It's okay. Then you...
Unless you're rich or your partner rich, I'm telling you right now, you're going to be in a 50-50 marriage. 50-50, yeah, you're going to be doing it. And that don't mean you're going to be paying half of the rent. He's going to be paying half of the rent. You pay for half of the groceries. He pay for half of the light bill. No, that means, like, for instance, my house, okay, my husband pays for every single bill except for my car note. He even paid my phone bill, my car insurance, all of that he pays for. But I pay for groceries. I handle my son's stuff that he needs. And that don't mean that my husband don't pay for nothing for our son, because he definitely does. But when it comes to the bulk of the stuff, yeah, that's me. When it comes to us wanting to go out to eat, us wanting to have, like, go to the club, all that other stuff, I pay for it. But when we travel, my husband will pay for the flights and I will cover the hotels and everything else. When you are with a rich man, you don't have to pay for shit. But when you're with a working class man and you are a working class female, you're going to have to pay for something. Stop believing social media, because the longer you keep believing that bullshit, you're gonna be alone for the rest of your life. You're gonna be alone, baby. Get your money up then. Get rich. That's what you want. Cause
I did not realize that some of you would get upset that my fiance and I split our mortgage and utilities 50-50. In my mind, that was so normal because, damn guys, we're not trust fund babies. Like, we both have high paying jobs, work in New York in tech, like, make a good living, but neither of us have trust funds to fall back on. I don't expect Sam to not be able to invest or save or do all of those things because he's paying for all of my nonsense. Don't get me wrong, he treats me well. And outside of any man or relationship, it's just important to me that I'm able to be financially stable and responsible on my own. I think it's sexy when a female knows how to take care of her own finances and herself. Sure, Sam always likes to cover things that makes him feel good, but knowing that I can hold down the fort on my own too, like, makes me feel good.
My husband wants us to do 50-50 in our finances. Now he earns about £2,000 and I earn about 1,600. He wants to drop 1,000 and I drop 1,000. I told him it can't work. We don't do 50-50 with chores, and the mere fact that I keep contributing without complaining should actually be appreciated. I cook in bulk every Saturday, which is meant to be my rest day, and clean the house. I don't really have a choice. Whereas if he's to do these things like a typical African man, it's when he feels like. Where the issues take a turn is my husband works 2 jobs. One still in Nigeria, which pays him roughly 700k, and the one in the UK. When he converts his Nigerian salary, it's not much, but he gets some extra money out of it. And my husband doesn't declare that income here, which is fine. I got my first full-time job in January this year, and that's when I started contributing proper to the house expenses. But I would get scared to bring it up because I don't like disturbing people over money. And to be fair, he took over 80% of the bills last year when I wasn't working full-time. But as soon as I started working full-time, man, something in this guy changed drastically. Where I made a huge mistake is that we have an account we move money to, and had issues initially opening a joint account online, so it was his account we opened. And I didn't have a problem with that too, had I knew. Note, that means only he can move money out. So when I contributed £700 for August, this guy moved £800 to the account and not 1,000, and did something very, very criminal. He paid our rent balance from the money I contributed. I was really livid. It affected our grocery budget and our water bill, all because I had no authority on that account. I brought it up and he said some mundane things. I eventually brought up his Nigerian salary, and he told me that that salary is his side hustle, and told me to go and work hard and get my own side hustle. I couldn't believe my ears though. because since we relocated, I hustled with this guy and never left him alone to do anything on his own. I was a student and he was my dependent, so I couldn't work full hours. Yet I never failed to show appreciation, spending on him when I can, and I don't go small with gifts. I was like, okay, so you don't want to declare all of your income, but me, I should declare all of my own and still drop 50-50, where your take home is more than mine. He stood his ground and said he will keep dropping what he does, which is roughly £800. If I like, I shouldn't drop my own 1K, which is enough to cover our rent.
Just for clarification purposes, let's first understand what feminism is all about so we can know where this 50-50 ideology is actually coming from. So feminism is the belief that both men and women should have equal rights, equal value, equal opportunity, equal protection, and equal freedom to make choices about their lives. Being born as a woman shouldn't make a person less important, less valuable, less protected, and less able to succeed. Hi everyone, my name is Ezinne. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm a forex trader and also a makeup artist, and on this channel I talk about things that I find disturbing on the social media space, mostly if it's pertaining to women. I talk about them whether they're trending or they're not trending. So without any further intro, let's dive right into the video. When women talk about equality, men automatically think, oh, women want to be like men, women want to be men, women want sameness with men, women want to be identical with men. And I find it very, very and hilarious, because men amongst their fellow men do not have sameness. Men have different preference, different personalities, different strengths, different weakness, and different responsibilities. One thing about us human is that we are very much alike, we are very much similar as human beings, but we are never identical, we are never same. We don't have sameness. Even identical twins, they are not the same. They might literally be identical twin, but they have different fingerprints, they have different personalities, they have different preference. So equality in its simplest definition or its simplest meaning means having equal human rights and having equal treatment. So respect is not something that should be reserved for only men. Both men and women should be equally respected. Education shouldn't be something that should be reserved for only men. Both women and men should be equally educated. Before you say, but women are going to school, nobody is stopping women from going to school. Women literally have college degrees. I agree, I'm not doubting, but that is in the recent time. Before now, women were not allowed to go to school, women were banned from going to school, and men have always had the right, the privilege, the freedom to go to school. In big 2026 in Afghanistan, girls are banned from going to school after grade 6, which is after primary 6 in where I come from, and boys are allowed to go to school up until university level. What women want is literally very simple. Women just want the same basic human rights that men have. Women want to be able to go to school. Women want to be educated, to work, to own properties, to have savings, to have access to money, to have financial knowledge, to be able to hold leadership position. Women who do the same amount of work as men should be equally be paid as they pay men. Women just want to be protected from Women want to be protected from early marriage, forced marriage. Women want to be protected from rape. Women want to be protected from harassment. Women want their voice, women want their opinion, their need, and their decisions to matter and to count in their families, in their home, and in their marriages. Just by the virtue of being born a man, all of these basic human rights that I mentioned are automatically and naturally added to men. But in the case of women, we have to fight tooth and nail, we have to protest in able to get very few of these basic human rights. And that is what the feminism movement is all about. But in the modern time, people started misunderstanding what feminism is actually all about. So, instead of men to see feminism as a means of women demanding for their basic human rights, no, they rather reduce the movement to who pays for dinner dates. So, whenever a woman says, I think men and women should be equal, I think men and women should have equal rights, they will immediately slam you with, if you want equality, then you should pay 50-50. This is as a means to silence women and to mock women, which means women are not allowed to ask for equality unless they agree to bear 50% or half of the financial responsibility in the marriage or in the relationship.
If you still think you should go 50-50 with a man, listen to this. I just watched a video where this woman asked all her male friends of different professions, different income levels, would they go 50-50 with their girlfriend, their partner, their wife? A majority of them answered yes. They believe in going 50-50 because it's about getting to know somebody, putting in effort and getting to know each other, and it should be equal on both parts. She said okay, and then she asked them, what if you met your dream girl? Your dream girl, she's everything you've ever wanted, and you know being with her will make you the happiest man ever. She's everything you've ever wanted. If you got to be with her, you got to have this woman in your life, would you go 50-50 with her? And they all said no. They said absolutely not. That would not even enter their mind, because it would make them feel feelings of embarrassment and humiliation, and they would do everything they possibly could to keep this woman in their life, to impress her. They would not do anything that could risk losing this woman, which just shows it isn't even about the money. If they have somebody in their life that could be their dream girl, that is everything they've ever wanted, and they really want this, they will find a way. They will find a way to make sure she's taken care of, to make sure she feels good around them, that they feel like the man, that they don't feel embarrassed or humiliated.
Healthy relationships attract money. If you want to be the man to have more money and get more money, provide for your woman. Support her 100% financially, because how would you expect to grow financially if you can't even provide for your woman? Like, for real. How could you talk about investments, bonuses, if you cannot even provide for your family? And ladies, if you want your family to attract money, let the man be a man. Let him provide for you financially, and see how much your family will grow in abundance. Because when you keep a balance, things flow. And I will say it again, healthy relationships attract money. Don't be scared of money. On the contrary, establish your foundation with your partner and watch how things flow in every aspect of your life.
If a man needs a woman to go 50-50 on bills and expenses, does he really see her value beyond her financial contribution? Because at the end of the day, 50-50 is a roommate, not a love match. 50-50 is, well, what do you bring to the table? 50-50 is nothing special, easily replaceable by another woman who can match that financial contribution. 50-50 is doing you a favor by being with you. 50-50 means there's no evolutionary drive to, as a healthy, secure male, provide for and protect his lady in some sort of way.
Now, for centuries, the patriarchal system has made sure that women are economically dependent on men. Before now, women get into marriage with men for basic needs like food, shelter, clothing, healthcare, and other means of survival. Depending on a man for provision can sound beneficial and profitable, but in reality, it's far from being profitable or being beneficial. In reality, depending on a man totally for provision or for finance can make it very difficult for a woman to live an abusive and unhealthy relationship. In real life, being totally and financially dependent on a man can give the man so much power and so much control over a woman, so much so that the man gets to make vast majority of the decisions in the household, and it can make unhealthy decisions which can be detrimental to the woman. And being totally financially dependent on a man can make a woman lose confidence in herself after so many years of not being able to earn a single penny by herself or a single penny of her own. She might start to believe that she cannot survive without the man. She might start to believe that she cannot survive alone. She might start to believe that, as a matter of fact, she cannot be on her own, because sincerely speaking, all her life she has not been able to make any single penny of her own. In a case where the man is no more, or maybe the man becomes ill, or maybe the man lost his job, or in worst case scenario, the man might abandon his family and go ahead and marry another woman without any formal education, any work experience, any savings, any property. The woman and her kids might end up becoming destitute. So you see why feminism strongly advocates for women to work and get paid, for women to own properties, have savings, have access to money, have financial knowledge. So it's not about 50-50 per se. It's about women being able to choose relationship, women being able to remain in their relationship or marriage because they truly choose their partner, not because they will go hungry or they will become homeless without their partner. So a woman should be able to choose relationship or should be able to get married because she has the freedom and she has the choice, not because without this man, without this marriage, I will not be able to survive. So the big question is, and the reason I'm making this video is, how did 50-50 end up becoming a mockery?
As someone who not only went 50-50 but almost paid everything in my last relationship, let me tell you why going 50-50 with men in most cases do not work. I've learned this the hard way, so you don't have to. At first, I thought this is empowering. I'm an independent woman. I don't want to owe you anything. When you think you're being considerate and thoughtful, that's not what men think. They think you are stupid. Okay, kind but stupid.
You know, when men say women who want equality should pay 50-50 of the bill, it might sound like, okay, they're not seeing us as their equal, they not see us as their equal, and they are willing to let us pay the bill and all of that, you know, but it's actually not coming from a place of them seeing you as their equal. Is mostly them trying to mock the concept of equality. Is them trying to trivialize the movement, and is them trying to silence women into shutting their traps. Do you get? So this 50-50 ideology is to trivialize the feminist movement and to reduce the feminist work into arguments about who pays for rent, who pays for dinner dates, and who pays for dating expenses. So, and another thing is that people don't really understand the concept or the word equality. People don't really understand it well. And also another thing is that misogynistic men and pick-me women have deliberately refused to accept that feminism or equality means just having equal human rights. The things that men get for just being men, women also want it. And to even think that this human right is basic. Women are not asking for too much. This is something that is already in existence, just that one gender just have it for being that gender. Okay, this thing that this gender have for their basic survival as human, why is it not being offered to this other gender? You get? And it might interest you to know that equality does not necessarily mean that every household, every responsibility in the household must be divided into two. So feminism never invented the idea of 50-50 ideology. It was solely men's idea, and it was men that brought about that 50-50 ideology. So that brings me to the modern time. In the recent time, the cost of living has become so expensive. The cost of living has gone up the roof, and an individual barely makes enough to provide their own basic need, the things that they need for survival. Talk more of fending for a full family. In the recent time, in so many homes, one person's income is not enough to cover for transportation, food, school fees, feeding, healthcare, and all the needs of the family. So as a result of that, both the man and the woman is already working. The problem is that women are now working to provide for their household, but men are not taking the equal share of the household work. In so many homes today, both the man and the woman work the same amount of time, the same hour, they literally do the same work. Even if they don't do the same work, it's about the same time. They go at the same time and they come back the same time. Whenever this couple comes back, the man goes ahead to max, relax and chill. The woman enters another shift.
50-50. I must not be the only one doing period. As I'm doing period this month, next month is your turn to do period. Hey, 50-50. When it is time to have children, you want to born 4, you want to born 2, you want to born 3, you are the leader, right? 50-50. I must see you get pregnant. I'll follow you to scan and see the baby grow in your womb. 50-50. You must born that child through your own genitals. 50-50.
Okay, let's even say that in a particular household, the household work is being carried out equally by the two parties involved. Okay, that's cool. What about the household? What about the families? What about the couples that decided to have children? Obviously, women cannot biologically share pregnancy with men. Women cannot biologically share breastfeeding with men. And after childbirth, the biological bodily sacrifice and the burden of healing and recovery cannot obviously be shared into 50-50. What about motherhood penalty? In case if you are wondering, motherhood penalty is when having a child or when giving birth can reduce a woman's earning, a woman's income, and a career opportunity. Do you understand? When a woman gives birth, after childbirth or before she gives birth, she takes a break for pregnancy. For some people don't take for pregnancy though, but when the due date is coming closer, they will take a break for childbirth and for healing. And because of that, the woman might likely reject job offers that requires longer hours. She might likely reject job offers that requires her to travel frequently, and she can miss out on promotion, professional connections. She can miss out on opportunities to get training, to get work experience. And another heartbreaking thing is that because of motherhood, some companies automatically assume that a mother is not available, a mother is not capable of a particular work because she won't be available and she won't be committed to her work. Even if that particular woman is experienced with the work, she's obviously competent and she's hardworking. Because of motherhood, she has to pay the penalty, and that is why we have motherhood penalty. Research has consistently discovered that having children or motherhood can affect a woman's earning, her employment, and her career more negatively than it affects men. And this is one of the price that women have to pay for choosing to have children, for choosing motherhood. A woman taking a temporary break from work today, it can literally affect her salary, it can affect her promotion as well, and it can even go as far as affecting our retirement savings many years later. So because of this process of pregnancy, childbirth, recovery and raising children, it can literally affect the woman's earning, which means a woman will likely earn very less because she has to go through the process of having children and raising children for the family, right? So in that same vein, in that same breath, women are being asked to go 50-50 with men. Women are being asked to contribute the equal amount that men are contributing in the family. Men whose career, whose employment, whose jobs were not interrupted. Literally make it make sense to me. Make it make a good sense to me. So you see, feminism is literally not about who pays restaurant bill. It does not have anything to do with restaurant bill. Feminism is about changing systems that literally favors men more than women. It's about changing systems that gives men more opportunities, more protection, more value than women.
As a proud feminist, I stand for the motion that yes, women are supposed to be given equal opportunities as men and stop being underestimated or overlooked because of how they appear. So because of this, I'm throwing a proposal. A friend of mine has started a construction project in Ghana, and I am the one who is in charge of everything. I need 5 or 10 strong women who can offload 600 bags of cement in 2 days. Yes, I need strong, because I don't know why I should give this opportunity to men when there are women who can, do the job. So let's put the men aside. I need strong women who can carry this task.
Feminism is not about women wanting to be like men. I don't want to be like a man, and I'm sure no woman out there wants to be like a man. No woman wants to be a man. Feminism is literally about dismantling patriarchal systems. Patriarchy is literally embedded in every sector. One good example that I want to use is in the family setting. A man who has not held any leadership position once in his life, or who has not acquired leadership skills, or who does not have any leadership skills. Whether I like it or not, leadership is a skill that a person can acquire. Good communication is a skill a person can acquire, right? So a man who has zero communication skill, no leadership skill, you have not held any leadership position one time in your life, but when it comes to the family setting, when it comes to family, the household, that man is being placed as a leader in the household. Another good example is in the workplace. Men are being entrusted with leadership positions way more than women. A woman who has the same qualification as a man is being paid less, while the man is paid much higher. So dismantling patriarchy is not man. It's not about making women superior to men. It's about removing the unfair rules and the belief that automatically places men above women. You know, it's much easier to discuss about rent, discuss about money, discuss about dinner date, dinner bills, build this, build that, than to actually sit down and discuss why are women being unfairly treated in the society. Another thing here is that people who benefit from an unfair system rarely or do not ever want that system to change. They literally want it to remain the same so they can keep benefiting and exploiting from that particular system. One more thing from the many reasons is that men, or a man who sees or who believes that he has authority over a woman, can feel threatened once the woman starts demanding for equality or equal treatment. So instead of men to explicitly say that they do not want women to have equal power, what do? They attack feminism. They attack feminists. They say feminists are bitter women. Feminists are angry women. Feminists are women who want special treatment. They are women who do not want to take accountability and responsibility. The problem here is that when a false narrative or a false story or a false opinion or a false anything false is being repeatedly said or repeatedly put out there, people might start believing that version. Platforms like social media, comedy, podcasts, movies, even in our everyday day-to-day conversation, feminism or feminist is being described as this set of bitter, angry women who. So when this thing is being repeated over and over and over again, people who do not understand feminism, people who are just hearing feminism, equality for the very first time, or even people who have not taken they have been hearing about feminism, but they do not really understand it, and they have not taken the time and the pain to go through research and to know what feminism is actually all about. This set of people might start believing this version of feminism. They will believe it, they will digest it, and they will run with it. So in conclusion, what have I been yapping about in this video? What I'm trying to say is that the 50-50 argument is not feminist ideology, is not feminism ideology. It's a simplified and a distorted version of feminism that was created by people who mock feminism, people who do not understand feminism, and people who don't want feminists to stand a chance. So dear beautiful women, you do not lose your rights, you did not lose your equality, you did not lose your dignity simply because a man bought you dinner. One more thing I would like to drop is that equality and human rights is not a reward that men give to you. It's not a reward that men give to women simply after proving that they are capable of paying restaurant bill, after proving that you are capable of taking care of the dinner dates. So with that, I end my video. Thank you so much if you stayed up until the end. I love you guys. Please like, share, comment, and please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to grow my YouTube. I'm trying to grow here on YouTube. Thank you so much. See you on my next video. Bye.